Well, hello, everyone. So glad to have you here. This is Beyond the Briefcase, and I am Sherry Knight of Dimension 11, and we have Barbara Ellison here at the Wellness Playroom. The two of us have decided to do this because we believe in it. But the fact is, we do, and we introduce other people at various times. But today, it's just the two of us. And here's the reason why I'm here. I'm here because I believe in what people have to do. And that can be absolutely anything. We are not finished when we are ready to retire or when somebody decides to retire us. The fact is, life goes on. And based on that, we need to think about where we're going and what we're doing. And that's what Barbara and I are going to do today. Barbara, tell us a little bit.
You know, that's exactly the truth. People think that when they reach a certain age, that they either have to just fold up their tents and die, which literally you have told me some of the statistics that people are actually doing that. They are folding up their tents and dying. And you know what? There's no reason to do that. We within us have a wealth of knowledge that the younger generations need to hear.
Yes.
And to know that it's available for them. I think that's one of the biggest things. People don't know what's out there. Well, true. And how are they going to know that what's out there unless we tell them?
Very true. And the scary part, oh, listen to this. It just makes me cringe. On average today, if we are 45, we are considered seniors for the workplace, not seniors for the government and pensions and all that neat stuff, but seniors when it comes to applying and getting jobs. So based on that alone says, what do we do beyond the briefcase? Because if we are only focused on our jobs, that's pretty scary if and when we lose them. And how do we move forward? Because that comes from my background. Barbara's got a different background, but my background is helping people get employed. And I've been focusing on how do we help senior people get employed? Why? Because generally speaking, not always, but generally, the people who are making the great salaries, i.e., the people who've been there a long time, older, they're the ones that get let go from companies. And so based on that, how do we get people back into living the life they want because they have the income that they want? So I'm helping people either get a job, retire. I hope you don't choose to do that. The statistics are really not great. Or the aspect of going back to school or starting a business. But Barbara deals with things in a different way. Barbara, tell us.
Right. And with me, one of the things it starts with is knowing who you are. And one of my favorite questions to ask people. And if you're listening to this, a year from now, this is a question you can still ask yourself. Who am I within what I do?
Good one.
So many, and lots of times I will ask people that, tell me what you do. I'm in financial services, or I'm a baker, or I'm especially the corporate types. Oh, I'm a department manager. I'm a lawyer, all those things. So, well, who are you within that? And it is always surprising when people don't know. Oh, they never thought of it.
Well, even at 7 o'clock at night, they're still the lawyer. They're still the bank manager. They're still the whatever instead of spouse, parent, sister, brother, friend.
Right. And so often they don't know who they are outside of the job title and the job description. The thing is that people, they know it intellectually that what happens at work you bring to your home, and what happens at home you bring back to your work.
True.
The thing is that how do you integrate both of those things so that you are the one that is passionate, fulfilled, feeling vibrant, knowing your sense of worth outside of the corner office, the cars, the homes, you
Right.
know, all of those, all the trappings of success.
Right.
And now you're facing whatever it is, either the voluntary layoff or the choosing, gee, I really need to retire. But what am I going to do? Am I still going to be relevant? And
Mm.
outside of all of those trappings, yike. How can I admit I'm unhappy
And we're relevant.
when they seem on paper that they've got it all? They've got the corner office, they've got the cars, they've got all of that. And how can I admit that I'm not happy?
Mhm.
It's hard to admit. And unfortunately, Sherry, remind me totally of the statistic about especially men who don't get this piece before they die, before they retire.
Higher. The average, and this is a very old stat. I've tried to find a newer stat. I haven't had success yet. But the average individual lives 18 to 24 paychecks after retirement. Okay. So maximum of 2 years. And so if you look at the averages of the individuals that you're
Mhm.
attending funerals for, on average, it is somewhere in that vicinity after people retire. So one of the things I suggest is don't retire. Just
Right,
move over to something else that keeps you fulfilled. And when I say retire, I'm not just talking about retiring from work,
right,
because if you have a plan, that's good enough if you work the plan. Okay.
right,
That's the key aspect. So you don't need to find necessarily another job. You can volunteer. You
right,
can do whatever is important to you as long as you have a purpose to get up every morning. And that's the tough part, because if you don't have a purpose and you watch the idiot tube until 2 in the morning and sleep until noon, etc., that's when you are shortening your life. If you
right.
have something that gets you up in the morning and going, even if it's golf, not a golfer, but even if it's golf, you have a purpose. And that's the critical part, is that
Right.
purpose. So
And you know what, Sherry? I have a perfect scenario of those two things.
I want to hear it.
My father and his friend Mo
Uh,
both started we lived within 3 blocks of three blocks. One week daddy drove, one week Mo drove, that kind of thing. They started in the company on the same day. They worked together, they ate lunch together every day. They retired on the same day.
mm,
Okay.
and
And my dad, I only lost my dad 7 years ago. He was 102.
wow.
Mo lived 6 months and dropped dead of a heart attack. And what was it? What was the difference? Mo went home and did exactly what you just said. He sat around and just didn't challenge his mind or find something new, use his skills. He had such great skills to use them to make a difference in the community around him. My father, on the other hand, he was an electrician by trade, had grown way up with the company, and then he had a high up title within the company, but his trade was an electrician. Well, guess what? He started going out to all of the people around, the senior ladies that had lost their husbands,
Right.
and he started doing electrical work for them, or he would do all sorts of things, and it was just amazing. And he lived to be 102. And
One.
one of the things, and the power of a goal, and he had goals. And I can remember as a kid, my dad always said he had 3 goals in life.
Okay.
He was going to work, he was going to be retired longer than he worked. He
I
was going to live to be 100,
Mhm.
and he was going to get his letter from the Queen. He's
Neat.
Canadian.
Yep.
And those were his 3 goals. And I heard that from the time I was a kid. Those were his
Cool.
3 goals. He retired and he retired. Well, he took an early retirement because of exactly what you said. They were getting rid of the higher paid executives. He stayed on as a consultant,
Right.
which they paid him well for. But then it was like, okay, you're done. And so, but then that's when he started doing all these other things.
Wow.
However, then when he was like I think he was 82 or 83, got an infection of some kind, and he was really ill, just very ill and in the hospital. And he was like, you know what? I've had a pretty good life, and it's okay. You know what? I'm 80, 82 or 83, that's the normal age, kind of thing. And I remember my sister looking at him and said, Daddy, I thought you wanted your letter from the Queen. Sherry, we literally watched the wheels turn in his eyeballs.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
He said, and because the next words out of his mouth were, I do want my letter from the Queen. And that's the day he started to get his health back, because he had a goal, and his letter is hanging on my wall.
Oh, wonderful.
On my wall. And I look at it all the time.
Mm.
Because when he passed away, I said, I want Dad, who, I had 3 sisters. I said, do any of you want the letter from the Queen? And they all said, no. I said, well, I do. I'm taking it. And it's hanging on my wall.
And I hope you have the same goal.
Because I have the same goal. I've increased it, though, because I'm in the wellness space. I am in the wellness space. And statistically, they're telling us that, and I heard this statistic years ago, that if the people that are in the wellness space that are really taking the nutrients, getting the nutrients, and now, you can live. There's no reason for us to be dying at 80 years old. So, but they're saying that by the year 2035, that the age expectancy is going to double. Well, if the age expectancy is 72, why can't I live to be 140? So now my goal is to live to be 140 because I am well.
Yes.
And I feel better now in my 70s than I did in my 40s, because I have embraced feeding my body with key nutrients and feeding my mind with they're called nootropics. You can look them up for brain health. And I am feeding my body with collagen to make it to stand up and not get hunched over. Those are all things that we can do. And to be active.
You're talking about living to 140. There is a new study out of, I believe it's Sweden, I think. Don't quote me on that one. That was talking in terms of that the age used to be that our bodies were created to live to about 125.
120, yeah.
And
it says in the Bible that we're allowed 100, that we are given 120 years.
That's right. And now the stats from this new study indicate we should be living to 150. It's all the other stuff that we do to ourselves that make us die early.
Right.
And
premature death.
You bet. And that's something on us. So what Barbara and I are talking about today is, let's not go to the negative side. Let's look at the positive side, and let's keep ourselves up there health-wise and also focus mindset-wise. The two have to go hand in hand if we want to take our lives and make them purposeful for the benefit of others. And, that whole aspect of service, whether it's because you volunteer or whether it's because you have a business or whether it's because you are in business for yourself in the sense of marketing. Barbara, you're big into multi-level marketing. Huge. So these are things that you can do regardless of age, but especially as we get older. And I don't know, Barbara and I are both widows. Both of us have lost our husbands. And that whole aspect is a huge change in our lives. And if you have lost a spouse, it might be a change in your life too. This element about what do we do now? We have to make all our own decisions. We have to have, what do we do? Right now, I'm downsizing from a house that's been approximately 5,000 square feet, and I'm going to move into an apartment. Like, oh, okay, this is different.
Right.
This is a whole change, pardon me, in life. So, but it's just one aspect of it.
Right.
What are the other things that we need to do to carry on? And once my husband John passed away, this aspect of all of that I've done in my entire career in my company is help people be employed, help employers hire the right people. I'm just taking that and expanding upon it to
Right.
make sure that people my age, our age, Barbara,
Right.
they have a life after they lose somebody. And it's
Right.
tough. Yeah, grief. We've all been through it, and it's no fun. But there is light at the end of the tunnel,
Right.
and there's life in terms of what do we want to get out of it. And so there's various ways of being able to do that. And so tell us, Barbara, tell us one thing that you do to keep yourself going.
Well, I mean, well, you mentioned that I'm in network marketing.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant compensation. It's where anybody can come in for next to nothing. Usually, most network marketing companies, you can join their sales force, for lack of a better word, and yet it's not sales. So I want to get that out there. It's not sales, but you can come in as one of their representatives for usually less than $100. And then you buy a little bit of product so that you can be a product of their product. However, within that is all the other positive aspects, because
Yeah.
it's not, you are not, yes, I'm not going to send the checks back. It's nice having the money. Perfect. Absolutely. However, what it is for me is the things that we just talked about, making a difference in the world,
Mhm.
helping other people to feel better, helping other people to be part of a community. Right now, we have an epidemic of people that are feeling alone. And guess what's happening? The suicide rate is sky high,
True.
sky high, because people are feeling alone. So what better way to earn an income? And it's not about earning the income. That's just a side benefit. The biggest benefit is being part of a community that feels the same way that you do,
Mhm.
that you can go to when you're having a down day. And lots of times in my community, we don't talk about business at all, but we talk about what we're dealing with in our own lives.
Mhm.
And that's the key to it. But you find the right community, you find the right model, and it doesn't have to be network marketing. It can be some kind of a direct sales. You can be an insurance agent and find other agents to do the same things, that you can meet together and have a mastermind and help each other and support each other and share each other's fields of expertise. Because Sherry, I know that you do this, that you can have leaders that are good at certain things. They're not so good at other things. They're good at that. They're experts at this, but they can all help each other.
Always.
And when you can help somebody else do what they are gifted to do, then that's where you've made a difference. And then you make a little bit of income. And many years ago, I listened to a talk from Bob Proctor,
Oh, yeah.
and he was talking just about this. He said, right now, people do not want to have jobs. And I think he was one of the ones that started with the what is a job? Well, a job means you're just over broke.
I've not heard Bob say that one.
It might have been, well, but it was in his ilk, of people that was teaching that you're just over broke. You want to have something that is going to pay you a residual income,
Mhm.
something that's going to pay you whether you work or not. And like right now, I was just on a call the other night, and we were talking about the gig mentality.
Yeah.
People don't want a job, but they want to have multiple gigs. They want to, side hustles, whatever you want to call it, from being an Uber driver, or, to be a, DoorDash driver. You can be an insurance guy. You're working for yourself, but you're working in a network that is helping you all grow. because all boats rise with the tide. So, and build a residual income, because those Uber drivers, what if your car is in the if you're an Uber driver and your car is in the driveway, are you making money?
Nope.
No. If you get sick and are in the hospital, are you making money? No. That's why it is so important to reach out to people who want to earn an income that is going to be residual passive income that's going to pay them whether they're working or they're not, and also that they can leave as a legacy
For that. And
to
so
their
that's one
children and their
option.
children's.
That's an option. The
One
other
option. That's the one
option,
I'm pursuing.
you bet, is to go and get that part-time job or that full-time job, whatever it is that really appeals to you.
Right.
And so there isn't a right or a wrong about what
Right.
Barbara and I are saying. There's
Right.
just a variety of ways for you to keep young, for you
Yeah.
to keep your mind active,
Yeah.
and to be involved with other people, especially if you're like us and you're a widow or a widower.
Right.
Life gets pretty quiet real fast. And I don't know, I've got a pet, you've got a pet, Barbara.
Right. Got a
It's
cat.
wonderful to have pets. They don't answer well.
Yes.
Don't
They're
necessarily
great to talk to, but they don't answer back.
right. From that perspective. So
Exactly.
there's many ways. And here's the thing that I hear from most people who are over 45, if they're looking for an employment opportunity. Their comment to me generally is, but I'm too old. Nobody wants to look at me. And that's true. It is true. The element is that we need to go out there and show them and list off to them the things that we do. So not only do I help people rewrite their resumes, but I also help in terms of what they're going to say when they're in that interview and somebody is sort of going, oh my gosh, you're long in the tooth. I don't know if we want you. That's when you need to be that vibrant self of yourself.
Right.
And you need to be saying to people, well, yesterday I did the 5 mile around the lake. And in the evening, I went for a bicycle ride that was, 7 kilometers, or in the States, whatever that is in miles.
Right.
You have to look at how you let them know what it is that you are doing and what you can bring to them, as opposed to just sitting there and knowing that you do these things yourself. You need to be your best influencer. You need to be your own promoter. And those are things that we go through so that you remember those things and you're able to say them. I know your mother said, especially if you're female, right? Don't blow your own horn. Now we blow our own horn. We've got to let people know what it is that we do.
Right. And that's one of the things that for me, I share with people too, and with my clients, be proud of your age.
Yes.
Be proud of your age. You have a lot of life experience. You're here. And if you're breathing, then you have a purpose.
You bet.
And I think also too is within that you're breathing and you're here and you're here for a purpose. Find the thing that makes your heart sing. I don't care whether it's gardening or like a friend of mine, she loves numbers. I am not one of them.
I'm with you.
I am not one of them, but she calls herself a born again spreadsheet geek. She
I love it.
loves spreadsheets.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But she loves doing them. And it's like, so she finds people, hey, she's made a couple of spreadsheets for me.
Wonderful.
And she's taught me now that I can actually do a basic spreadsheet
on your own. There you go.
On my own. And I can do. I don't get her to do but a couple of the complicated, the ones that have formulas and all that stuff. Yeah, no. You lost me at what?
But maybe you don't need them either.
Maybe I don't need them either. And so that's the beauty of it. Find that thing that you love to do, that you do automatically without even thinking about it.
Right.
Because chances are there is somebody out there. And the key word there is get yourself out there. Let people know the things that you're good at.
You bet. You
And
bet.
when you can let people know that you're good at, you're going to find people that want to learn what you know how to do.
And I use a different word than you do, Barbara. I use the word wisdom.
Yes.
After living for whatever number of years you have lived, the wisdom that you have in your little finger is amazing compared to our younger people. So
Right.
how can you do that, whatever it is that you have the wisdom in? How can you do that and share it with those individuals who are anxious to learn? Because
Right.
many of those younger people, especially, yes, some of them look at us and go, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
fine.
They roll their eyes. Yeah.
Yep. But the others, there are those people who go, wow, I can learn so much from you.
Right.
And so, how can you take your skills, your background, your experience, your wisdom, and how can you share that with other people? That's what you want to be thinking about. So, if you want to talk to Barbara or you want to talk to me, there are ways to connect with us. And so, just have a look at the bottom of the screen. Barbara, you're going to put yourself up there.
There's me.
You betcha.
No,
And
wrong one. That's my LinkedIn. You can
LinkedIn, okay.
reach out to me on LinkedIn, and you can just check out what I do, and posts that I post, and because like I post constantly, I'm pretty regular about posting. But if you want to talk to me and just say, gee, you know what? I wonder what my options are.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I work with people in 3 critical areas: personal growth, what we've been talking about, know who you are, but also your ultimate health. Be the healthiest that you can be. I can show you how to do that, but also I can show you some options of how to earn some extra income. And that's entirely up to you, but you'll decide which one of those 3 things that you want to do.
It's you.
So, yeah,
You
what you want to do. So have a chat with me. Just text the word chat to 815-567-8750. And what you'll do is you'll get a link to my calendar, and then just put your name in on the calendar and we'll sit and chat.
Sounds great.
And now for Sherry.
Yeah, a little bit different. What you've got here is my email address so that you can connect with me that way. Or like Barbara, you can connect with me by setting up an appointment with me on my calendar. And here's the thing to be conscious of. Neither Barbara nor I are here to sell you anything.
Right.
We are here on these calls simply to chat, to be able to help in terms of thinking about where it is you want to go. And then opportunities arise because now you've got them in your head and you can go away and think about those and see what happens for you. And yes, later down the road, if you're interested in working with us, sure, we'd be glad to have those conversations. But that's not where we're at now. Where we're at now is, what do you need to do to take that one step to get further in your life? And so please think about joining us. Think about giving us a shout. We are coming here a couple of times a month, sometimes with other people to share their wisdom with you, and sometimes just ourselves to share our wisdom with you.
Right.
Because this idea of just Barbara and me, we just came up with that idea and went, oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. So hope you had a great time today. Love you lots and look forward to chatting with you in the future. Take care, everybody.
Have a great one, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.